Alright, everybody, welcome back to Jayfabe Wrestling. We're in WrestleMania 38, the 38th edition of Rebooking every WrestleMania. Sorry, guys, for the hiatus. I was actually on vacation for the last 3 weeks. I was in the Philippines, so yeah. But now I'm back here, and I know WrestleMania already happened, WrestleMania 40. I'll talk about that maybe when I do Rebooking WrestleMania 40. But let's get into WrestleMania 38. Right now, it took place on both April 2nd and 3rd. In Arlington, Texas at the AT&T Stadium. Night 1 had around 65,719. Night 2 had around 65,653. Combined was 131,372, all according to Wikipedia, of course. And the tagline, the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history. Now let's get into the card. So here we go. We got in the opener, the Usos defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs to retain their Smackdown Tag Team Championship. Drew McIntyre defeated Happy Corbin. The Miz and Logan Paul defeated Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Bianca Belair defeated Becky Lynch to win the Raw Women's Championship. Cody Rhodes returns and defeats Seth Rollins. Charlotte Flair defeats Ronda Rousey to retain her SmackDown Women's Championship. And in the main event, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin defeating Kevin Owens in a no-holds-barred match. At night 2, the opener was RK Bro defeated the Street Profits and Alpha Academy to retain their Raw Tag Team Championship. We got Bobby Lashley defeating Omos. We got Johnny Knoxville defeating Sami Zayn in an Anything Goes match. Sasha Banks and Naomi defeated Carmella and Queen Zelina. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Edge defeated AJ Styles. Sheamus and Ridge Hollins defeated The New Day. Pat McAfee defeated Austin Theory. And then in a unannounced match, it was Mr. McMahon defeating Pat McAfee. And in the main event, Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar to unify in a winner-takes-all match to win both the WWE Championship and to retain his Universal Championship. So, yeah, guys, this had a lot of ups and downs here. I think from night 1, obviously, Cody Rhodes returning is the highlight. And Becky and Bianca had a great match as well. And, of course, Steve Austin's return, definitely unpredictable at the time. You kind of thought, he was done for. It's been, over 19 years or something like that since his last match. So for him to return was an epic moment. So definitely night 1 was the more superior night. But night 2 had some solid stuff. Obviously, Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn, that was a very fun match there. But, aside from that, there was a lot of disappointment, especially on night 2, I think. Edge and AJ Styles, it didn't really hit. The main event, it was kind of the same old things, finisher spam with Lesnar and Reigns. Mr. McMahon returning, yeah, we didn't really need that. Him fighting Pat McAfee. Yeah, and I think, looking at this card, there's definitely things some people could do better. Drew McIntyre faced Baron Corbin, so I think he could have did something better than that. RK Bro, yeah, that was a really good tag match, but I think they could have did something better with them. So yeah, guys, I'm going to get into my card. Let's start right now. All right. First off, we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I don't know why they took this off the main show. It's just to get everyone on the card. I think it's a nice payday, and it's a good way to push someone. So looking at who I don't have on the card here, I would actually give the win to Damian Priest. And I think this is a good win for him because he was slowly turning heel. Obviously, on this show, he interfered in the Edge versus AJ match, but I wouldn't have that happen right now. Yeah, I think this would be a good way for Damian Priest to establish himself as a heel. After he wins, he can start being arrogant, and this could slowly, build into the Judgment Day Damian Priest. And then we got the Women's Battle Royal. I'm not really a big fan of the Raw Women's Championship because you got teams here that are not really teams. Like Carmella and Queen Zelina, Liv and Rhea. What are we doing with Rhea Ripley at this time? Natalya and Shayna, even Sasha and Naomi. And all these teams are not real teams here. So yeah, I'll put all the women here in a battle royal, and I'd actually have the final 2 be Sasha Banks and Rhea Ripley. So I think that'd be a nice battle between them and actually give Rhea Ripley the win here. And yeah, this could also slowly, give Rhea some momentum before she turns heel and eventually joins the Judgment Day. So it's pretty cool how I have the two Judgment Day members winning these battle royals. I think it's a good way to give them both momentum. And it's kind of like Sasha Banks passing the torch to Rhea Ripley. All right, guys. Now we're going to get into the main card. I'm going to start with the Raw matches here. We got 7 matches from Raw, 7 matches from SmackDown. So let's get into it. So we got the Raw Tag Team Championships. I'd have the Street Profits actually come in as champions, and they could defend against Alpha Academy, the Dirty Dawgs, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode, and a new team called Miz-Theory. So it's The Miz and Austin Theory. So, yeah, the Street Profits after Elimination Chamber, they could defeat, let's say, Alpha Academy. They're saying, we want the smoke. We challenge any team that wants to smoke. And you could have, all 3 of these teams, come out and say they want the shot at the Street Profits. And, instead of, having a number 1 contenders match, Street Profits say, forget that. We want all you guys at WrestleMania. So, yeah, it's a nice way to, put the odds against the baby faces here, against 3 heel teams. And you could do some fun stuff with, Alpha Academy kind of hosting, like the spelling bee. Yeah, I know they had this with RK Bro, but you could have that. You could have the Street Profits, hosting a game of beer pong. So you got some fun things here to build. And I would give the Street Profits the win here. Nice feel-good victory. And I think a nice way to start the show for Raw. All right, next up, we got a pretty cool tag match here. We got Rey Mysterio and Edge versus Finn Balor and AJ Styles. So, yeah, I'm going back to my booking last year. Obviously, I had AJ versus Edge the year prior, so not this year. And that's when I would kind of have Edge form the Judgment Day. And you could have, Edge aligned with Finn Balor. Finn Balor kind of kicks him out. And I wouldn't have Damian Priest and Rhea join yet. But Finn would, get rid of the Judgment Day and form, the club, the Bullet Club. And him and AJ would, attack Edge, and Edge would be out for a bit. He would return at the Rumble. He would eliminate both of them. And, yeah. But, even at Elimination Chamber, there's a handicap match. Finn and AJ versus Edge. They hit him with the concerto, and Edge says, you know what? When you're facing against all odds, you call your best friend, and Rey Mysterio comes out. And, and you can also build, like, the jealousy of Dom not being on WrestleMania, but he's still in their corner here. So yeah, you could build that up. And I'd actually have the heels win. Finn and AJ, I think that, this is a good win for Finn and AJ. And it'd be a clean match here. Maybe Ray can, hit the 619, but he's going for, the West Coast pop. Finn dodges it, and then AJ can hit the phenomenal forearm there. So, yeah, I think this would be a really good match. You got 4, legends in the ring, basically. So, I think it'd be a really solid match. All right. Next up, we got, for the United States Championship, we got Bobby Lashley defending against Brock Lesnar. So, yes, this was the match that I feel like was supposed to happen, and then they just switched it because Roman got COVID, and then Brock was in the match. And then they had the match at Rumble where, Roman screwed Brock, and then Bobby just lost the title at the Elimination Chamber because apparently he was injured, but then he still ended up being on the show. So, I definitely have something different for Roman. We'll get to that later. But, I think, Brock in a mid-card title match is pretty cool here. Bobby was and Brock did cost Bobby the U.S. title championship, so I won't have that here. But, Bobby, they can maybe clash at the Royal Rumble. Bobby could get the elimination on Brock. Brock could get pissed, come back in the ring, eliminate Bobby Lashley, F5 him through the announce table. That kind of builds it up. Bobby could be challenging Brock, but Brock's a no-show for a bit. And then Bobby's in the chamber, and Brock can interfere there, cost Bobby Lashley the match. And, Bobby Lashley says, Brock Lesnar, you claim you have done everything in this business, but first off, you never been U.S. champion, and you never beat me. and Brock can, make the challenge as you and me, Bobby, at WrestleMania. You could have Brock cracking the jokes on Bobby with, saying, Bobby who. So yeah, you can have some fun promos here. And I'd actually give Bobby Lashley the win just because, it's kind of weird seeing Brock with a mid-card title. And Bobby Lashley did dominate the feud for the most part. So I think it's a nice feel-good win for Bobby Lashley. He gets his dream match and he gets to retain his U.S. Championship. All right, next up we got the Raw Women's Championship match. I got Becky Lynch versus Lita. Yes, Lita. So obviously I have Bianca Belair doing something a little different. I'll get to that later. But yeah, Becky's a heel here. She's, big time Bex. And, she'd be just, mocking the women's division, saying, no one's ready for Becky Lynch. She because of her, everyone's getting paid and everyone's getting food on the table. And you can have Lita come out and say, she respects Becky Lynch. But, she should also acknowledge the people who became before her, that made, that gave Becky the opportunity to become big-time Bex. And, Becky's like, yeah, you know what, Lita, you're right. She shakes her hand. She says, I apologize, gives her a hug. And then she puts Lita in a disarmor. So Lita's out for a bit. So, yeah, you have Becky just mocking Lita. She could come out to the ring and like an arm cast here, and then they'll have like a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender, and you could have Lita be the last participant, and she wins the match, and she challenges Becky Lynch, and look, I think Lita deserved a big moment at WrestleMania. She's been kind of like everyone's been talking about Trish, more than her. And I think, she kind of deserves her flowers. And this would be a nice way. They did have the match in, it was in Crown Jewel or whatever. But it was a really good match. So you could have that match here. Becky gets the win. But Lita gets the cheers after the match. All right. Next up, we got the Seth Rollins Open Challenge. And this is when Cody Rhodes, obviously, is the one to answer it. And they have an epic match. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing I would change about the build here is I wouldn't have Seth be like, oh, I'm trying to get on WrestleMania. Seth says, you know what? I'm proven. I know I'm on WrestleMania. He says, who wants to step up to me? Who wants to go one-on-one with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? So he's like just being full of himself, saying he can't wait to see who challenges him. He's ready for all comers. It doesn't matter who he faces. No one could beat Seth Rollins. So yeah, you could just have Seth, talking smack throughout the weeks here. I think it's better than like, oh, Seth doesn't have a match at Mania. It's like, come on, man. Like, we're really going to believe Seth's not going to have a match at WrestleMania. So that's the only tweak I would have here. And then obviously Cody Rhodes is the one to answer. And they had a really great match here. And they had an epic feud as well. And yeah, keep everything the same here with, Cody winning. Cody does the fun Stardust homage. He also, does the Dusty elbow. So that was pretty cool. And I think he also did some Goldust moves as well. So yeah, keep all that the same. And actually, after the match, I would actually have them handshake, because I know Seth kind of turned the night on Raw face, but actually would have that here at WrestleMania. I think it'll be a nice feel-good moment. And obviously this led to, Cody being the top baby face. So definitely got to keep this the same. All right. Next up, we got the semi-main event for Raw. We got the WWE World Championship Tournament Finals. Randy Orton versus Matt Riddle. So in my road, Biggie is still champion. But obviously he got injured. So I'm just going to play it off like, oh, he got injured before Mania. So then they do a tournament on Raw. And the final two is Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. So yeah, I think, the feud obviously, makes sense here. Former partners. And I actually have it face versus face where everyone's thinking Randy's going to do the RKO. he kind of teases doing the RKO on Matt, but he can't pull the trigger because, you know, he's built like such a great relationship with Matt Riddle. And Matt Riddle is kind of like egging him on. He's like, Randy, I know you got to take me seriously. Hit me with an RKO. I want the best Randy Orton. I don't want, you know, a best friend Randy Orton. I want to prove that, you know, I beaten the greatest Randy Orton. So you could have Matt Riddle trying to bait Randy to RKO him, but Randy's just like, you know, he has too much respect for Matt Riddle, so that could be part of the feud. And then Matt Riddle could talk about, you know, how Randy's been to the top and he thanks Randy so much for, you know, helping him get here, but this is his moment. And yeah, you know, Randy could talk about how, you know, he sees a lot of himself in Riddle. Obviously, you know, they're into the same extracurricular activities. You know, a lot of people don't like him in the locker room, and he sees that in Matt Riddle. But he says he doesn't know if Matt Riddle has what it takes to, you know, to fully, you know, complete his potential here. So yeah, you could have some good feud here, but still face versus face. And I'd actually have Matt Riddle win the championship here. He could counter the RKO and hit his own RKO. And yeah, after the match, you think Randy's going to turn on him, but he hands Matt Riddle the belt. He hugs him and he endorses him. And yeah, I think it's a feel-good moment. Obviously, Matt Riddle, he kind of phased out, you know, a couple years later. But, you know, for this time, he was super over. And I think he definitely deserved to be the WWE champion. We got the Raw main event, no holds barred, Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. Yeah, I mean, look, this obviously was unexpected. But if Austin says he's doing it, this got a main event. And, yeah, you could just have the same build where Kevin Owens is mocking Texas. You know, he's mocking, you know, where WrestleMania is. He says it doesn't matter if it's in Texas. It's still going to be the Kevin Owens show. And then, yeah, you could have the hype of, you know, him mocking Austin, saying, you know, he wants to see if Austin's man enough to accept the challenge, you know, because he doesn't want to get embarrassed in his hometown. You know, Kevin Owens cuts some great promos on Steve Austin here. Yeah, and he says, you know what? I don't think Austin's going to show up, but I will to fight. But he probably wants to talk, so let's do the Kevin Owens show. So, yeah, you can do that same build, and you can even have, you know, the iconic Raw moment where Kevin Owens, you know, he's dressed up as Steve Austin. And the glass breaks, everyone's going crazy, and they realize it's Kevin Owens. That was a pretty funny moment there. So, and then you just keep everything the same where, you know, they have the KO show, and then KO's like, you know, we want a match, and Austin's like, you want a match? Hell yeah. You know, they take all the stuff off the ring, and they have a nice, fun brawl here to end the show. Obviously, it's really unexpected. Austin took a suplex, you know, on the ramp of the stage, and, you know, it's classic Austin stuff, fighting in the fans there, and ending with Steve Austin, you know, giving Kevin Owens the stunner. 1, 2, 3. And this is where I'd have Vince come out. You know, I know Vince got stunned like against Austin after the Austin Theory Pat McAfee match. But, you know, I would change that to where Vince comes out and he's trying to celebrate with Austin. He says, you know what, this is the last time. Let's do one more toast. And then he hits him with a stunner. So, nice, cool way to end the show for night 1 for Raw. All right, now we're getting into the Smackdown matches here. So for the Smackdown Tag Team Championship, we got the Usos versus the Viking Raiders versus the New Day versus the Brawling Brutes. So, you know, going into this feud, I'd have, you know, the New Day lose to the Usos, with the Usos, you know, getting help from Roman Reigns. And then I'd have the Viking Raiders also lose with help from Roman. And then the Brawling Brutes, Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland also, you know, get screwed by the Usos, so they make the match. I believe it's Adam Pearce at the time. He says, you know what, the Usos, you've been screwing around, so at WrestleMania, it's going to be you against all 3 of these teams in a fatal 4-way tag team match, and Roman's banned from ringside. So yeah, they kind of build like the Usos are in trouble here, and all the teams are, you know, coming for the Usos. You have like the New Day and the Viking Raiders, you know, jump the Usos. But then you have the Brawling Brutes, you know, also part of the feud, you know, attacking the New Day here, saying, you know, we want our respect. So yeah, I think you got a lot of talent in this ring here. But you got to keep the Usos still as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. All right, next up we got the Intercontinental Championship match here. We got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus. So yeah, Sheamus could win like a number one contenders battle royal or something like that. And the feud is simple here. Sheamus wants the belt that he never won. And it's a battle of the styles. You got Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style. You got Sheamus, the brawling brute. So yeah, I think this would be good here. And you could have, different tag matches here with, Knock and Rick Boogs against, the Brawling Brutes. And, yeah. And, 1 week Sheamus could hit the Broad Kick on Nakamura and saying he has the most deadliest kick in the WWE. And then the next week, Nakamura could hit the Kinshasa and say, he has the most dominant kick. So it's about a dominant kicks here. And, yeah, you could even have, Sheamus, assault Nakamura with his Celtic chain there. And then the next week, Nakamura could, hit Sheamus with the mist. So he kind of gets even and causes him a match. So, yeah, I think this would be a really hard-hitting match here. Not really sure if these two fought on TV before. I feel like they probably might have, but I'm not too sure. Definitely don't think they fought on a pay-per-view. But yeah, you got a hard-hitting, match here. Sheamus and Nakamura should be a really good match for the IC Championship. And I actually would give Sheamus the win here because I think, he deserved the IC Championship run. All right, next up we got Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. So yeah, I have this match happen a year earlier. And hopefully, this is a better spot for Ronda because obviously, her and Charlotte is definitely more of an ideal match, but I don't think Ronda had the fan connection yet. Maybe she had to build it up, and I think maybe a feud with Shayna Baszler will give her some sympathy. So, yeah, you could have Ronda return at the Rumble, and then she teams up with Shayna, and then Shayna could eventually... actually, Ronda could eliminate Shayna Baszler after Shayna tried to eliminate Ronda, and Shayna's like, all right, it's all good. So, yeah, Royal Rumble, Ronda doesn't win. We have a different winner. And then next night on SmackDown, because Shayna was on SmackDown, Shayna could talk about how, she always wanted to team up with Ronda Rousey. So, yeah, they could have a couple of tag matches here. And at the Elimination Chamber, Shayna could finally turn on Ronda and say, how Ronda's always taking the shine from her, when she's a much better wrestler, she's a much better MMA fighter, but it's always everyone's talking about Ronda, what about me, Shayna? So yeah, and then they can have some nice pull-away brawls here. Shayna could choke out Ronda 1 week, Ronda could, get Shayna in the armbar the other week, and yeah, I think this is a good way to use Ronda in her return. She had to be on the card, obviously, and I think maybe this would save her momentum, as obviously, she was gone the next year just because, the fans were really behind her. But I think, having a nice blood feud here and not giving her a title shot right away would be the smart way to go. Now, I would actually give Shayna Baszler the win here. She could choke out Ronda, hopefully just build sympathy for Ronda, and they could continue to feud. They could blow it off at SummerSlam. All right, next up, we got a fun celebrity tag team match here. We got Logan Paul with Baron Corbin versus Pat McAfee and Ricochet. So, yeah, I mean, I was thinking of doing Logan versus Pat, but obviously they're two celebrities, so maybe, you want to get some actual stars in the ring to rub off the star power of Pat McAfee and Logan Paul. So, yeah, I would have Ricochet and Logan Paul do that spot at the Royal Rumble, so they could go viral there. And then yeah, Ricochet could challenge Logan. He says you want to get viral again. Let's get viral at the biggest show of them all, WrestleMania. Logan accepts, but then next week, Logan says he hired some backup. And yeah, obviously this Baron Corbin was like was he like poor or something like that? You could kind of continue that storyline where he took the money from Logan Paul, so he's now his muscle, and they could kind of beat up on Ricochet for a bit, and then Logan Paul and Ricochet and Baron Corbin now be in the ring. They're about to attack Ricochet, and then Pat McAfee could make the save because obviously he does not like Baron Corbin, and yeah. And then they make the tag match official here. You could have Baron Corbin attack Pat McAfee on commentary. He could do commentary for a couple of weeks. It'll be entertaining. Him talking smack. Pat McAfee could return. And yeah. Who I'd actually give Logan Paul and Baron the win. I would have Logan pin... yeah, he could pin Pat McAfee. I think that's okay. And yeah, this could build towards a Logan Ricochet feud in the summer. So I think it's a good way to get, current stars on the card, but also, use the star power at WrestleMania. All right, next up we got the no holds barred match, I guess, or street fight. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a great match here. Given the parameters and given, Johnny Knoxville's experience in the ring, they had, they did everything, they threw everything at this match, including the kitchen sink. And the build was fun too, with, Johnny Knoxville, mocking Sami Zayn and his conspiracy theories, and, Johnny Knoxville, entering the Royal Rumble, and, Sami Zayn eliminating him there. And yeah, obviously Johnny Knoxville, he did that thing on social media where he posted Sami Zayn's number, and it was like, Sami Zayn was like, looking stressed out because he couldn't handle all these phone calls. So yeah, keep everything here the same. I don't remember what else happened in the build, but I know it was a pretty funny build, and Sami's a great character here. He knows how to put over, the celebrities here. So, and yeah, everything in the match keep the same. I forgot there was Wee Man, I believe. He slammed Sami Zayn, so that was a cool moment. There's the other guy where he was like wearing a thong. I forgot his name, but he was in the match, and yeah, just had a lot of funny things going on in the match. Obviously ended with the mousetrap, which was a great spot there to end the match. And yeah, I think, after this match, he realized, Sami Zayn, he definitely this was a great match, no doubt, but he deserved better, and he definitely did get better the next year. All right, next up we got the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte Flair versus Bianca Belair. So yeah, same thing happens to Bianca at SummerSlam. She loses to Becky with Becky cheating. I wouldn't have that be a squash, though. It'd have it actually be a match. Becky cheats. So yeah, Becky's been screwing around with Bianca. Bianca wins the Royal Rumble. She says, you know what? She ain't even worried about Becky Lynch. She's worried about the queen. She says, I don't want to deal with, all this foolishness of Becky Lynch backing out of matches here. So she goes to SmackDown and challenges Charlotte. Charlotte could say, you made the wrong decision. I'm the best 4-horsewoman. And yeah, they could just, both show training montages, because obviously both are super athletic here. And this would be a great match. And we never got this match yet, I believe, or maybe it was like NXT Triple Threat. They could talk about, Bianca could talk about that, and how like Charlotte came down to NXT. Now I'm coming to her show to take her belt. So yeah, you could kind of build that up. And just looking at it, like Charlotte got injured, obviously, this year, so you couldn't do Bianca Charlotte. And the year prior, Charlotte Rhea was the way to go. So, I don't know how many more Manias Charlotte has, so I feel like this is the time to cash in on Charlotte versus Bianca. And Bianca gets the win. She continues her undefeated streak at WrestleMania, and she defeats another 4-horsewoman. All right, now we're the main event, the WWE Universal Championship. We got Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. So, yeah, Drew McIntyre, I would have him win the Royal Rumble. And yeah, he says, he wants redemption for WrestleMania 36 for, not winning in front of fans. He says he's going to do it again at WrestleMania, this time with fans. And yeah, it can get personal here. Roman could talk about how, Drew had to quit the company, but Roman's the constant because, he's the man. And Drew could say, he wasn't given everything, although he was the chosen one. Let's be frank, Roman, you are the chosen one. So yeah, you can have some good promos there. You could have Drew, taking off the Usos. The Usos, jumping Drew McIntyre. So yeah, this is everything from, Clash of the Castle, but at WrestleMania. I know like Clash of the Castle, obviously the environment was better, but you want the best matches at WrestleMania, so I think this is the way to go. Drew was he's the only logical opponent, I think, for Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar, we've seen that already. Kevin Owens, he was on Raw. Seth was on Raw. Like, no one really on SmackDown, could have faced Roman. I think except Drew McIntyre, to be honest. So, and I believe Drew took a little hiatus. You could have the bloodline, just jump Drew McIntyre, so it can kind of set up the return there as well. And yeah, I'll keep everything the same and have the ending the same. Solo Sikoa makes his WrestleMania debut. He cost Drew McIntyre the match. Roman Reigns wins, and his reign continues, and the bloodline is still on top. So yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think about my card here. Just looking at the original card, so obviously Usos, Nakamura, Rick Boogs. I think I have a better match for the Usos. Having Viking Raiders, New Day, and the Brawling Brutes. So you got different styles there, and I have something better for Nakamura. Him versus Sheamus should be a strong, hard hitting match. And then Drew McIntyre versus Baron Corbin, like I mentioned, Drew McIntyre is definitely the better choice over Brock Lesnar. He has a story there where he wants to win in front of the fans. And so, yeah. And I have, Corbin in the mid-card, him teaming up with Logan Paul. I think that's a good spot for him. It's a better spot for him there. And, yeah. Rey Mysterio, Dominic versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Yeah, I kind of switched things up. I think Rey and Edge will have their, have a better match just against AJ and Finn. And also because, Edge and AJ are a little older. So, obviously their match here, it was a little bit disappointing. So having them in a tag match might be better. Bianca versus Becky. I mean, that was a great match, no doubt. But we kind of seen that already. So, having Bianca versus Charlotte, I think is better. Because, we haven't gotten that match yet. And we still haven't really gotten that match on pay-per-view. And then also just moving around Ronda versus Shayna. So I think this is a better spot for Ronda to, slowly, get back into it. And hopefully, she can build momentum. Cody, Seth, keep the same. And of course, Austin, KO, you got to keep the same. And then, for the Raw Tag Team titles, that was a really good tag match there with RK Bro. But I think having RK Bro, kind of, settle that storyline there is a good payoff for WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley versus Omos, Bobby versus Brock was the way to go there. Knoxville, Sami, keep the same for sure. The SmackDown women's tag, the women's tag, not SmackDown, but the women's tag team championships. To me, they were really much used there. So I think having all the star power in the Battle Royal is better. Sasha and Rhea could go at the end, which I think would be good. And what else? Obviously, that Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus the New Day was not a good match, and they kind of just shoved that on the card. So having them in a SmackDown tag is better. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I think having him team with Ricochet is a better choice against Logan. So you got all the star power in that one match. We don't need Vince versus Pat McAfee, but we still have Austin stun Vince at the end of the show, night one, and then again. Roman versus Brock was a way to go. I'd rather have 2 title matches here. Roman doesn't need to hog all the titles. So, and him versus Drew was a great match at Clash of the Castle, and it'll be a great match here. Yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me run down the card for you all right now. So on the pre-show, we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which will be won by Damian Priest. And also on the pre-show, we got the Women's Battle Royal, which will be won by Rhea Ripley. All right, so here are the Raw matches for the Raw Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits defending against Alpha Academy, the Dirty Dawgs, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, and Miz-Theory, the Miz and Austin Theory. Then we got a tag team grudge match here. We got Edge and Rey Mysterio versus The Club, AJ Styles and Finn Balor. And we got for the United States Championship, the almighty Bobby Lashley defending against the Beast Brock Lesnar. For the Raw Women's Championships, Big Time Bex defending against the Daredevil Lita. And the Seth Rollins Open Challenge, we got Seth Rollins versus the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And for the WWE Championship, we got the Viper Randy Orton versus the Ultimate Bro Matt Riddle. And the Raw main event, we got Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake versus the prize fighter Kevin Owens. And here are the SmackDown matches. We got the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The ones, the Usos defending against the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne, the Viking Raiders, and the New Day. For the Intercontinental Championship, we got the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. In a grudge match, we got Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. In the celebrity tag match, we got Pat McAfee and Ricochet versus Logan Paul and Baron Corbin. In an Anything Goes match, we got Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. For the SmackDown Women's Championship, we got the Queen Charlotte Flair defending against the EST Bianca Belair. And in the main event, we got the WWE Universal Championship, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns against Drew McIntyre. So yeah, guys, that is my card. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate the support. Catch you on the next one. Peace.